Hey, welcome to Half the Battle.
We're going back to the comic today with issue 39, Walk Through the Jungle. A lot happened in the last issue. A group of Joes was sent to rescue a hostage. Billy was put on trial for attempting to kill his father, Cobra Commander, but escaped with the help of Storm Shadow. And Candy, Ripcord's on and off again girlfriend, had her house raided by the Joes because her father turned out to be a Crimson Guard.
All of this gets expanded on today.
But most of the issue is focused on the jungle operation, hence the title.
I'll deal with each story separately.
The cover features Stalker and Footloose looking at, something with grim determination while hiding in a jungle. So the title fits anyway. The problem is that Footloose isn't on the mission, and in fact doesn't even appear in the issue. I guess it was supposed to be Rakondo, but somebody didn't get the memo.
I'll tackle all the side stories first before we get to the main plot.
We'll check in with Cobra Command first, since it's just one page. Destro and the Baroness have both good and bad news for the commander. The good news is that Tomax and Zaymot have escaped with their Crimson Guard. We saw that last issue. So their operation in New Orleans can go ahead. Yeah, they got something big cooking in the Gulf of Mexico, so they're all heading there. The bad news is that they couldn't find a trace of Billy and Storm Shadow.
Not really that surprising, considering, ninja.
This neatly gets me to the next story in the issue, Billy and Storm Shadow. I'd almost call this section a training montage, as Stormy is teaching Billy in the way of the ninja. It's sorta like the Karate Kid, but with deadly swordsplay. There's also mental training, as they play a chess game in their heads while doing something resembling parkouring. And I don't care how good a ninja you are, there's no way people don't notice you dropping in the elevator behind them while talking. I mean, look, they're not even whispering to each other, just talking. This part of the comic ends with Billy walking down the street, when he's accosted by thugs who I swear are an early concept art for the Dreadnoks. He makes them back off and run away with just a single look.
I can make people run away with one look too. Well, women anyway.
Next, we check in with Joe Headquarters, also for just one page. Duke is interrogating Candy, who still looks so 80s I want to gouge my own eyes out with a claw hammer. By the way, her headband has switched from blue to red in between issues, but I can't really blame the poor bastard who had to draw her outfit for not keeping it straight. Anyway, I say Duke is interrogating her, but what's really going on is he's giving an exposition dump. He's telling her they found Cobra equipment and propaganda, as well as all sorts of information concerning the Gulf of Mexico and New Orleans. Meaning the Joes now know there's something going down there.
By the way, you generally don't do this in an interrogation.
You don't give your suspect every piece of information you have. You keep them in the dark about how much you know and try to coax information out of them. Oh, and do I even need to point out the words lawyer, rights, or due process never appear in this issue? Yeah, we should be used to that by now.
With that, we can finally get to the main plot of the comic, the jungle bit.
At the end of the last issue, the Joes decided to rappel down a cliff face to surprise the guards at the base. So, we see them do just that. Bonk! Fuck! Pack! It's like seeing the Silver Age of comics with those sound effects. They take out the guys on the roof, including the poor bastard who's just a coffee guy, without raising any alarms. Rakondo then takes his uniform and heads below. Speaking of below, Dr. Burkhardt is about to be interrogated/tortured, and I'll get to that in a minute. First though, take a look at the room. It has guns, uniforms, maps, radio equipment, everything you'd expect in a villain's lair. It also has 2 dead pigs on the ground. They are never mentioned or come up again in the story. They're just there. It's like the artist said, "You know what this scene needs? Dead pigs." This is one of those unanswerable questions that will haunt me.
What the hell is up with the dead pigs?
Anyway, our evil scientist of the day, who reminds me of Dr. Mindbender, is about to use truth serum on her. Only not sodium pentothal, but rather sodium amythol, which she claims is far more effective.
Well, I'm off for another disturbing Google search.
Yeah, turns out sodium amythol isn't all that effective either. It makes you more susceptible to suggestion to the point you actually develop false memories. So, in an interrogation, if you're asked, say, "Did you kill those pigs as part of a ritual to summon Great Cthulhu?" not only will you say yes, but actually believe you did it.
You know, with my search history, I'd really like to get a look at the file the NSA no doubt has on me one of these days.
Before the doctor can find out how much fun he can have with a woman, a syringe, and 2 dead pigs, he gets interrupted. Whap, whap, whap! The other Joes head down, only to find all the bad guys knocked out, with Recondo standing over them. Though he has a knife, he only used it to cut Burkhardt's bonds. "Then how did you take out the interrogator and the 2 guards?" "Don't ask."
No. I think, in fact, I will ask.
First of all, saying "don't ask" implies he did something too gruesome to describe. But the interrogator is just fine a few pages later, so he was just knocked out. Secondly, this type of stuff, taking out 3 guys off panel and making it look easy, is the kind of badass that is usually reserved for Snake Eyes and or Storm Shadow. So, Recondo really gets a boost here. Anyway, the Joes still have the problem of getting out of there without the machine gun nests on the ground cutting them to pieces. Though, if you ask me, at this point they could just send Recondo out and have him deal with it off panel. They decide to dress Dr. Burkhardt in a uniform and pretend to be the relief guard. They'll just keep their own uniforms, since at a distance, all camouflage looks alike.
Yeah.
Things go south fast as 2 guards spot them. They are called Gregor and Dmitri. I only mention their names because they do it too, like 100 times. Every time they have a conversation between themselves, they call each other by name. This was apparently a thing.
If you want my opinion, and I guess you do because you're watching this video, I think it's a James Bond reference.
Specifically from Diamonds Are Forever's Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd. They were sadistic assassins that called each other by name all the time, while these 2 are sadistic snipers that call each other by name all the time. And if they are based on those Bond villains, that would also mean they're gay, since the originals were. These could be the first canonically gay people in the G.I.Joe mythos. Granted, they're sadistic bad guys, but still...
Yay, equality?
Anyway, they hit the alarm, so Gung-Ho takes out one of the watchtowers, using the weapon his toy actually came with. It's a nice touch. Dmitri and Gregor are about to take them out, but are interrupted by covering fire from the Tucaros, Recondo's indigenous buddies who had stayed on top of the cliff. Unfortunately, they pay for the diversion with their lives, as the duo are really good snipers. They did buy the Joes enough time to take out the other guards, and the tower our snipers were in, allowing them to escape. Our sniper duo crawls out of the rubble, no worse for wear, and the interrogator barks at them to follow the Joes and recover Burkhardt. So, they shoot him.
Because evil, I guess?
Actually, I really like how they completely subvert the cliché of the evil boss guy shooting a random underling after he gets angry. Here, it's the underlings that shoot the boss and go after the heroes for revenge. Speaking of our heroes, they need to cross a river to get away, while Rakondo is more concerned with performing a ritual for his fallen Tokoro friends. He then heads back into the jungle to see if they're being followed, while the others construct a very basic rope bridge. They cross it just as Rakondo comes back, carrying 2 rifles. What happened to the snipers? Don't ask.
Again with the thing!
I didn't skip over anything here. We never see what happened to them.
Doing it once may be cute, twice, now that's just to piss me off.
Rakondo drops the weapons as an offering to the river gods or something for the dead Tokoros, and joins the others. Stalker gives another speech when Ripcord rips into Burkhardt about what they're fighting for. But it's the same damn speech we saw in the last issue pretty much, so it's redundant. And the comic ends with them getting on a plane, but Wild Bill and CoverGirl inform them they aren't heading home, but to New Orleans, because of the mysterious crap Cobra is up to there. Oh, and did they really need to have CoverGirl act as a goddamn stewardess? They usually don't go with the cliches when it comes to women. And that was Walk Through the Jungle.
It was... adequate?
Look, it wasn't a bad issue by any means, but it didn't wow me either. The best parts were the setup for next time, really, with everybody heading to New Orleans. The main jungle story was okay, but the most interesting characters, the interrogator and the sniper duo, got killed off in the same story they first appeared. I would have liked to have seen more of Gregor and Dimitri at least. And Rakondo's mysterious badass powers got annoying.
Show, don't tell, comic.
Like I said, doing it once, fine, but twice, that was just frustrating. I will say that seeing Burkhardt again was nice, and a great callback to the very first issue.
Well, that about wraps it up, so I'll see you all next time. But there's one question that still remains unanswered. What the hell was up with those pigs?
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
But your bollocks did up good, you did.
I'm gonna take care of the side stories first, and then tackle the main plot of the episode. It's not an episode, it's an issue.